Good morning, everyone. It is for me, bright and sunny February 28th. It is Wednesday, and I am, I am back in Orlando because our 10-year-old is a little sick. So he's home from school. He's down in his office, in his study, doing some schoolwork. And you might hear him coughing in the background, but I decided I'm going to jump on and start getting into the groove of doing these Wednesday wisdom live streams, testing it out today. And I think I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and my YouTube channel. That way I can archive it on YouTube as well. We can grab some tips or whatever, the nuggets that people really like, bring it over. So thank you for joining me. You're probably live only on Instagram at this point in time. I can't see comments from YouTube or Facebook. I'm on not LinkedIn, Facebook on the app itself. And then I have my friends over here on Instagram who I can look at and say their questions. So your questions from Instagram or comments won't show up in the feed here, but I am seeing them. So just let you know, feel free to send them. Hi, we share the last name. That's cool. There's definitely. I guess that means you're in Jamaica, probably. There's not a lot of mullings with the G spelling outside of Jamaica. I guess. Sorry, not in the US. You'd find some in Scotland, Ireland, and so on. But hopefully, we're both making the last name proud, and that's the important part. But yeah, the title of this one is a Wednesday Wisdom, and I want to share something that I read this morning. As you know, usually I will read a page from the Tao Te Ching each morning. This morning, I decided to read something else. This is a little book I picked up in Jamaica recently, and it's 56 Thoughts from 56 Hope Road, the sayings and psalms of Bob Marley. And so some quotes from Bob, some are from his songs, others are from interviews or so on. And this one was number 14 and really stuck out to me. It said, "The road of life is rocky and you may stumble too. So while you point your finger, someone else is judging you." So remember that the road of life is rocky. We know this, right? We're going through air pockets and pothole. Sometimes the car will mash up and have to pull over and forget a new car, right? The road of life is rocky, especially for entrepreneurs. It is not an easy road, as Buju Banton say. But they're saying that you are busy pointing the finger at other people. Oh, you don't do this yet, or you don't big like that, or you're trying at this thing and you fail, right? You're pointing fingers at people. Somebody else is judging you at the same time. So don't bother point the finger at anybody. You never know what anybody is going through, what they've been through, or what they will go through. And that was the essence of my post yesterday when I posted pretty much all over social media about the 5-year anniversary of my surgery. And most people don't know what I've been going through since February 4th, 2019 until the first week of November 2023. And we'll get into that another time. It's not for me to dive into that right now, but most people are paying attention to social media and they only seen a snippet of my life. I do try to talk about the fact that it's not all a bed of roses, ups and downs. I'm not here to just promote this fake Instagram life that my life is perfect and great. It's far from it. And I try to be very transparent about that. And people call that authenticity. I just call it being truthful. I'm not here to only show you one part of my life. That's why I do a lot of these pictures. So, and not just pictures. I try to write, but I also try to do a lot of stories. And then I do these lives because I think that too many people are trying to put on a show for their viewers, their followers. And it's like, you don't need to put on a show, just be you, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Don't sugarcoat it and make it seem like entrepreneurship is great and that your life is perfect and you're doing everything right. No, you might be late on the car payment or you have your bank account Saturday, you're negative, like mine, right? You fix that, but entrepreneurship is hard until you hit that inflection point. It's going to take time, 5 to 10 years in most cases. And that's just part of it. If you get into entrepreneurship because you want to be rich, good luck. It's going to take you about 10 years to go get that done. You could speed that up, but it takes a while. This is not an overnight success, right? Most overnight successes take 10 years. So that's what it is. I seen, hey Robert, I check in some of the people that are here. Somebody from Spanish Town, your dad is from St. Elizabeth, reside in Georgia. Yeah, man. And Oh, that's cool. Big up the Mullins family. Our Mullins is from Montego Bay, St. James. That's where the entire thing back to great grandma is from. So, but yeah, guys, it is important to me that we're transparent. So, as you know from the post that I did yesterday and Monday, right? Monday, I was in New York at JP Morgan Private Bank. I had been in the room with a number of black professionals, and it was great. It was probably 50-50 men and women, or close to that. There were a lot of women in there, and I was happy to see that. They had a fireside chat with Ursula Burns and Robert F. Smith. And I'll be honest, I've never heard of Ursula Burns. No clue who she was. So I actually thought she was going to host the fireside chat with Robert. So once I introduced her, I was just like, oh, I need to go and Google this lady and study her. I mean, it is what it is. I would say that there's a lot of people I don't know who they are. I'm studying Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, and those people. Look at me, I'm getting a call from one of my investors, and I have to go call her back because we're in the middle of a live. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. But she going to see this on Facebook and say, "Oh, that is why you couldn't answer my call this morning." And that's great. No, she's actually they're buying some acreage in Jamaica. She said a couple acres, and then just sends me the thing is like over 100 acres. And then we're looking at Blue Moho, obviously partnering with them to see what development we can do on there. What I would look at now, we're probably going to get some questions. But yeah, we're going, we get into that. I get to the interesting one here. Trevor says this. I love this. Sometimes people see the results and not the hard work we put in. I was going to say, sometimes, Trevor, people always focus on the results, and the results are what they want, right? They're not looking at the iceberg. So, do I have that? Actually, I have this iceberg picture thing, again, just setting up to pull this stuff up. But why we're talking about, right, we've all seen that iceberg where you see the piece above the water, and that's the success. And then you don't see what is the hard work that goes into it below that. And it was interesting. I have my little football chat. We call it the Asterix League because so many games are played on Sunday, and then they make some argument why one of the goals don't count. So there's an asterisk beside the score. But it actually stands for Alaqua Lakes Football Club, which is the area where most of the guys actually live and used to play within the area. And so yesterday, I think it was yesterday, they posted in the chat and tagged one of my friends. I don't know if it was, they were just like saying, hey, do you know about this event? And they posted a screenshot of the upcoming Opal Family Office Winter Forum in New York on March 4th. And it has this guy, a friend of mine, Danny Hughes, who's actually one of my shareholders and advisors. And it's all these NFL and other stars. These are retired athletes that are on the panel. And Danny coordinates that for all Opal events. He will always coordinate the athlete investor panel. And I love that panel. And so I reply and say, hey, I'm actually a sponsor and a speaker for the event. I speak at 9:50 a.m. And in fact, my name is the first one that shows up on that panel about doing good and doing well. The way that you can have sustainable returns with sustainable investing. You're not giving up. And so I had to laugh because I then come in and said, yeah, in fact, I'm sponsoring a bunch of the events this year. I've sponsored many and spoken at many. I've done the whole circuit. I've done Napa, Austin, Texas. I've done, this is Palm Beach, New York, all of these. And Danny's a shareholder and an advisor to the company. In fact, their ESG conference, March 16th, 17th, is in Palm Beach. And I'm also sponsoring and speaking. In fact, the video they're using to promote the conference starts with me defining impact investing. So this is mostly Jamaicans in the group who have a fairly good idea of what I'm doing. And they saw the Robert F. Smith picture on Monday. So it's like, man, those circles they floating are wild. Then on Tuesday, they post about the conference. And then I'm talking about the fact that I'm speaking and sponsoring this conference and multiple ones for the year. And of course, one of the guys, one of my biggest supporters, big up Chris in the group, went to high school together. And he says, Mullins putting in the work. And then I post a picture of the iceberg. Because it is true. You don't see that work. You might see some pictures of me speaking somewhere, one or two articles, but the work itself that we are actually putting in, don't see. And you have to think of it in the same way as a farmer who plants seeds and then is going to grow something. You might see the mango tree later, but for a good while is barren land. And you plant the seed and then you water in this barren land. And eventually these little green shoots pop up. And it's going to take time. Eventually, these tiny trees, people who don't understand what it takes to be a farmer misunderstand. Like at first, I can say, why you water in dirt? Well, no, the dirt has seeds planted in there. Then they see these little shoots. Why is it taking so long? And it goes, why is it taking so long? Why are you still at that? Right? That's all they're going to keep thinking. If they don't understand farming and how long it takes for a mango tree to grow and bear, they're going to keep asking, why it takes so long? Oh man, you're a fool to go under that. And then the tree finally bears. Right? Big mango tree and bear. You know what those exact same people come and do? Yo, beg your mango, or beg your work to pick the mango, or can I buy a mango? Those are really the only options. So there's going to be a group of people who will always point the finger at you and judge you for focusing on what you are doing because they misunderstand the time it's going to take. So when you think of it, you're a farmer, you're an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. It's going to take time. You have to plant the seeds, you have to water it, you have to ignore the noise, learn from other farmers. Nobody else is going to help you. Farmers are going to be helping the person who's a new farmer. So learn from farmers and ignore everybody else because they don't know how to farm. They don't know what they're talking about. They've never done it before. They've never read about it. They've never studied it. They've never tried it. So how are they going to guide you? Get guidance from the farmer, right? You become an apprentice. That's really how the world used to work. Want to be a good blacksmith, a good tailor? I'm going to be an apprentice first, get good, get my hands dirty, test it, try it, do it, learn by do it, then go from there. So you're an entrepreneur means you need to think that you're a farmer. It's going to take a while to get this done. The interesting thing when you use that farm analogy, though, is something Warren Buffett talks about, and it's actually his grandson, I believe, and his son that got into this. I talk about 40 chances. I believe that's the name of the book. We can Google it, but 40 chances. And the idea is that if you're a farmer, you typically have 40 chances to make it work and leave a legacy for your kids and have a retirement. And what I mean by 40 chances is that you have 40 growing seasons, aka 40 years. So if you start farming at 20, that means until 60. Because let's be honest, you don't want to be a 65-year-old farmer. That's backbreaking hard work, and your health is probably declining. You don't want that. You're just not as mobile. So your prime years are going to be 20 to 60. Realistically, it's actually 18 to 58. But let's just use 20 to 60, 40 years, very simple. You are not going to have every year being perfect, right? When you're farming, you're going to have down years. If you look at any crop, if you just go and talk to a farmer and say, hey, what your farming results look like for the last 20 years? You have some years where you actually wipe out the whole crop. I feel sorry for some of these orange farmers in Florida when you have a cold snap. Oh my goodness, it's wild. Right, 40 chances finding hope in a hungry world. Thank you, Keon, for giving us the name of the book. So 40 chances finding hope in a hungry world. But think about this. You have 40 chances, 40 years, 40 growing seasons between age 20 and age 60 to make something of your life. Take that from farming into your personal life. You're going to work. So probably did college. So you finish at 22 in most cases. I finished at 19. So there's a little difference there. But you finish at 22, you expect to retire at 65. That's typically when people retire or aim for retirement. You might actually try to retire early. But let's say 22 to 65. That's 43 years. So you have 43 seasons to make it work. How many times are you going to start over during the 43 years? Because in most cases, you hit midlife, right? So you hit like 40 and you have a midlife crisis and you might start over. You leave the job, you leave the career. You became a doctor or a lawyer because mommy and daddy wanted you to be a doctor or a lawyer. You were not passionate about that. You did not find your why before doing that. You have not used that to cover the cost or pay for the why that you want to do. Right? You might be a lawyer and hate the job, but the money you make allows you to run the nonprofit you want to do, or do the projects you want to do, or travel to where you want to. So you're willing to suck it up so you can live this life. And that's fine if you recognize that. Other people want to actually enjoy what they do because that's just how some people are. And that's fine. how long is it going to take for you to have a happy life that allows you to live the life you want, to impact the people in the way you want to impact them? 43 chances is what most people have, 43 seasons. How much time are you going to spend watering, taking care of it, ignoring the noise, and then scale it? So I think that's really important. This person saying that's profound. Wow, never saw it that way before. Yes, when I read that from Warren Buffett, I was blown away. It's actually Howard Buffett that wrote the book, and I think there's like a forward from Warren. I was fortunate enough to actually meet Howard Buffett Jr., so Warren's grandson, at a Family Office Association event years ago, and he was the one that talked about that on the panel, and it was eye-opening when you think about that, right? If you work backwards, the average life expectancy of a male in the United States is about 74, 75 years old. So when I get rushed to the hospital at 38, half my life gone. That's literally what the doctor said. He said, David, you're playing soccer twice a week, right? I'm playing football twice a week. I'm playing tennis twice a week, including a doubles tournament on Wednesdays. I'm playing golf on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to the range 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning. I'm swimming once a week. It's like, you are the perfect example of fitness. Your blood pressure level is lower than a nurse who took your blood pressure. Your blood work is better than mine in terms of cholesterol level, right? So he feels that body mass index, everything. I'm 5'11" and a half and weigh 175 pounds, 180 on a wet day. It's like, you're the perfect example of health. What the hell did you do to end up in a hospital for me to have to do surgery? What did you do? And I talked about the travel last year and what I was doing. And he's like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you go so hard? Why would you do that to your body? And you know what my answer was? I need to do it while I'm young. And the dude says, okay, what's the average life expectancy of a male in America? It's like 74, 75, 76, somewhere around that. He's like, okay, fine. And then how old are you? I just turned 38 last month, like 2 weeks ago. He's like, okay, what's 2 times 38? I literally grabbed my head. I'm just like, holy crap, that's 76. And he says, exactly. Half your life is gone. You're not that young anymore. No, I'm going to try and save you tonight, and you need to live the second half of your life differently than the first half. I don't care if you don't believe in God. You're going to kneel down and pray before I rush you into the operating theater, because I don't even want to stop to pump your stomach. I'm that scared. This was after we had the calls with my mother, my father, my brother, and my wife. So I pray aloud, right? Like real talk. And it brought back that idea of 40 chances. What was I going to do? I had goals and I had backed off of some of them because I was afraid somebody going to talk about something, somebody going to say, owe them some money, or that, well, in usual case, they invested and that deal failed. That's part of it. Companies fail all the time. That's the risky tech. But I was afraid that people going to come talk about that and how some people going to look at me. And I'm not deserving of being out there, is it? Because I haven't become a multimillionaire. I haven't achieved everything I want to do. So I'm not going to go and inspire people anymore. I'm going to back off my public speaking. I'm going to back off posting on social media. I'm going to back off inspiring people and trying to inspire people, because I was worried about what a few people would think or might say. And so once I woke up on that bed the next morning, 1:30 a.m., mom and dad holding my hands, praying, tubes everywhere. It's like, holy crap, I'm alive. I have a second chance. I have a second life. Nobody going to hold me back this time. I don't care what nobody wants about me. I have a second chance. Nobody going to stop me from doing what I know I was put on this earth to do. I'm here to inspire other people to share knowledge and make people smile. That's it. That is it. I've chosen a path that, in my opinion, gives me even more credibility, creating wealth. You know why? Because people tend to pay attention to those people a lot more When that B shows up beside their name or an M, right? Billionaire or millionaire, that didn't inherit it. They created wealth. They helped to create jobs. They helped to change lives, hopefully through the products that they also have and the services. Those people tend to have more credibility in a capitalist system. And I live in a capitalist system. So the best way to have credibility is to create wealth and make my investors wealthy. By the way, if I can help other people who are not even investors or shareholders wealthy by passing on knowledge, even better. I get to pay it forward and help a generation or maybe 3 generations, the parents, the children, and then the grandchildren who also can inherit, right? 3 generations is how I would like to impact people. It's actually possible that we could do 4 because we have baby boomers living longer. We have Gen X now, we have Gen Y, me, the millennials, and then you have Xennials. So we could actually impact 4 generations right now. So, Shada said, teach me, brother. God bless. God bless. No, respect. I know. I grew up in the church. Right? I minored in religion, so I'm not a religious person. I minored in religion at university. But I grew up in the Anglican church in Jamaica, the Church of Ascension. Big up Uncle Peter, rest in peace. And for me, being part of Eagles, which Sybil Bell Navis and the Sybil managed that youth group, and then we had youth fellowship after that. And I never forgot that we'd always sing the song, One Talent Have I. Right? One talent have I to take to the sky. I mean, anybody that went to some Christian church should know that song. And so the idea is that there are people who have multiple talents. There are people that have one talent. When you have one talent, you have to work on it. That is the one. You can focus. You are not distracted. If your one talent is sprinting, you're going to focus on that and become the fastest man or woman in the world. You're going to focus on that talent and be really good, because talent alone does not win. Talent alone does not win. You have to put in the work. Requires hard work and smart work. I'm going to say it again. Hard work and smart work. There is a famous quote that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I disagree with that. And I'm going to explain why. And I said it to somebody yesterday. I sat with an entrepreneur who has her business in New York. And she said, first of all, she never heard that. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And we've seen that, especially with football players around the world. You've seen people who have amazing talent, but they don't work hard. And so their career go off to the side and we barely remember them. So hard work matters. Messi and Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo put in the work. They put in hard work, but they also put in smart work. Now let's explain the difference and why that matters. If I am the supervisor on a construction site by a road, right? I come to you this morning at 9 a.m. and tell you I needed to dig a hole, and then I leave. You're going to be paid $10 an hour to dig the hole. At the end of 8 hours, you now want to get paid $80, and I show up at the end of the day. And you say, hey, boss, I dig the hole. And then the supervisor, me, I say, oh, you dig the hole on the wrong side of the road. You worked hard, you expected to get paid, but you did not work smart. You worked hard at the wrong thing. You have to work hard at the right thing. So in fact, when the supervisor comes and says, I needed to dig a hole, the supervisor really should be telling you some things, but you should just ask some questions. Number one, where do you want the hole? How wide do you want the hole? How deep do you want the hole? In fact, why are we digging a hole? Right? People have to understand the why first, and then they get in line and support. So you don't have to tell them what to do. You explain to them, here's the vision, here's why we're doing what we're doing. Then they help you solve the problem. And in fact, they can help you solve the problem smarter. Again, you want to give them the why, and then they instinctively will then follow through. So give them information. Work smart, not just hard. Talent is a bonus. You don't need talent to be successful in life, because you're not trying to win a gold medal in a 100-meter sprint. That is not how life works. That is not how business works. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon that you're running against yourself. I'm going to say it again. It is a marathon that you're running against yourself. So we're going to keep going with the sports analogies because I was a rally driver as part of a rally team in Jamaica. I was a nappy, so I'm the co-driver of the team. Means I read the pace notes. I did that for a year and a half in Jamaica. Class JA3, which means front-wheel drive cars. We drove a Toyota Starlet, naturally aspirated with a black top engine. Loved it. We won for that year. We won our Rally Jamaica. The thing tall so the trophy big it in Jamaica. I can't even bring it up here. It's so big when I want to bring it to foreign. The most important thing I was ever taught when it came to racing, and it's something that I've kept as a top 5 lessons for business, is very simple. In January, we launched our racing team and we started at Montego Bay, the first race of the year. It was the first rally of that year in Jamaica for the season. And this is a Jamaica Millennium Motoring Club that does this, JMMC at the time. And Norman Minot, who is a very well-known lawyer from Miles Fletcher's Garden, manages the team. And I said, okay, what advice do you have for me and for us? And he says, stay in the race. I don't understand what you mean. He's like, you are racing against a clock. But all these other people in the race, 60 cars are going to start the race. And you're going to have some people who, instead of saying, you know what, the pace notes say, right turn, second gear, 100 yards, left turn, third gear. And they're going to try and go third gear and fourth. They're going to try and go faster and push the limits of the car, even though their pace notes have told them what they should do. They're going to crash out or mash up the car. You need to focus on your notes, not worry about anybody else. You are in the race by yourself. Stay in the race. Finish the race. That's what he said that morning. So all we did, stick to the pace notes. Don't do nothing different. Don't try and go faster. Don't try and go in third gear in the corner knowing that it was a second gear corner. Back off. Follow the notes. Right? We have a recipe to follow. I've never had more fun in my entire life because we get to drive it before. So actually, no. And there are no cars in front of us or behind us unless they crash. 60 cars start the race and about 18 cars finish. Whether it's service problem, mechanical problem, we finish the race in the top 10. This is against Evolution, Double RX, all these turbocharged cars. And how our little naturally aspirated Starlet can finish so high. And I remember we were interviewed. How the manager, 60-odd car, like I was told to finish the race. We're not supposed to worry about the other person. We're not chasing them. We are in the race alone. Just drive to the limits of our car and follow the notes, right? Follow the notes. So if you are going to go into business, I'm not saying you have to do a business plan. I actually prefer the business model canvas. Your business plan is going to be evolving constantly. But you can get the plan from somebody. Somebody has done something similar somewhere. So you get a role model CEO, a role model company, and how they operate the business, how they build teams, how they become transformational leaders. Get a role model company. Get their recipe. Don't change your recipe. Don't tell me that, oh, it was different 20 years ago and 100 years ago. Certain things did not change. How to build an effective team, how to be a transformational leader, how to create a psychologically safe company where people can feel the ability to speak up and share ideas. That does not change. It does not change. So go and study. And that was an interesting discussion I had yesterday. Well, you know what? Mindful mindset. Use your time and talents wisely. Have a framework and a list of priorities. Make adjustments as you go along, but don't deviate. That's what my investor relations specialist for retail just said, Tanya Peralta. We have Iceberg saying slow and steady wins the race. Iceberg saying slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Right? We know the story, Aesop's fables, the tortoise and the hare. And the tortoise wins. That fable exists for a reason. It has endured for hundreds of years for a reason. Don't try to go too fast. And the way I use to talk about it is the car. Am I going to try and drive a Toyota Corolla the same way that I'm going to drive a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9 as the same way that I'm going to go and drive a Porsche 911 Turbo? These are very different cars. Their tires are different. The handling is different. That does not mean I should go and drive them the same. I can't drive them the same. So if you want to move at Ferrari speed with your startup, do you have the right vehicle, the right tires, the right team, right? Mechanics, your team? Odds are no. So don't try to go from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds because the Toyota Corolla startup can't do it. Recognize the vehicle you have, work with that, and then adjust the vehicle as you go. In fact, you will change vehicles at times, but recognize the limit of the vehicle that you have right now. And so, one of the discussions I had yesterday, the person is running a restaurant business, and I asked her what's happening. She explained to me, and I dropped everything to go and sit with her yesterday morning. She says, well, she has a plan. She's finally profitable. She had her first profitable month because she took my advice of following Mike Michalowicz's Profit First. And I was so happy when she had messaged me and said, I finally made my first profit. Thank you. There's somebody with no business experience. So I said, all right, let's talk about some things. You're having some challenges now. But I'm going to ask you this. If you wanted to get good at playing the violin or playing football, would you have gone and studied the game, read the rules of the game, and then found a coach and go learn? You might do a violin class. Yeah. It's like you learn to play the piano, you can go play, and you want to probably get a class or watch some videos. You go and learn. Yes. How many entrepreneurs have you studied? How many business books have you read? And she immediately leaned back and said, oh, good point. Most people jump into business thinking they'll figure it out on their way, and the customers just going to come. I just have to do this. No, we go to school to learn math, to learn English, to learn physics, biology, chemistry. You can go and learn entrepreneurship. The books are out there. Just go to Barnes and Noble. There's a whole shelf of business books, guys. Be willing to learn. Somebody has done it before. In fact, a lot of people have done it before and been successful. Some people have failed. Learn from the failures so you don't repeat those mistakes. Learn from the successes and implement those things. Again, it's in the book. It's on YouTube. It's there. It's out there for us. The knowledge is free. Free. But we don't seek it out. So this one is saying, oh, geez, we have to tell one saying, what soccer even are you involved in speaking and sponsoring? I'm interested in helping the sponsor. Yeah, so Real Mona Over 40, Real Mona Football Club in Jamaica has an Over 40 team, and I'm a sponsor along with MAPEC. So that's the team is sponsoring for this season. Let's start though. We have a team that you can talk about sponsoring. I can't say anything yet. There's an announcement to come out in probably 2 months, but excited about that. Thank you for offering. For me, we're going to keep those analogies of sports, lessons, being willing to learn. So that was the first thing. Wow, I really need to go and read more stuff, David. Thank you for that. Second thing, I say, what's your plan now going forward? What are you looking for? What's the most important thing in the next 30 days? And how can I help you? Oh, I'm thinking of launching on March 1st on DoorDash. I said, oh, why? Oh, because I feel that COVID has changed consumption patterns and more people are ordering food online instead. I was like, well, that's true. But let me ask you this. Most small businesses want to get into Target and Walmart, the big stores. They dream of that day. Then they get the order for $1 million worth of product from Walmart. They have to deliver that product and they get paid in 90 days. It's called net 90. You're lucky if you even get net 30. 30 days after delivering the goods, you get paid. That means you have to find the money to actually float the business. You have to create the $1 million worth of goods and deliver it to Walmart and then wait for them to pay you. Where do you get that money from? So what happens is that most entrepreneurs think, if I can just get the order from Walmart, I can show this to an investor to say, I have traction. Here's the order. Give me the money to go and produce the goods to sell to Walmart. Here are the margins. And you won't go to the bank and say, lend me the money to deliver the stuff. Sometimes that works, but that is a massive risk. And the next time when in Walmart then does a larger order, $2 million worth of goods now, where you get the money again? You are constantly draining cash from your business to try and do that. And if you already have a cash flow problem, you don't have enough cash to do it because you're a startup that don't have no outside investor money, is your savings. You're constantly digging a hole and then refill it. Then dig a deeper hole and refill it. Then dig a deeper hole, hoping to scale to success or scale into bankruptcy. Most small businesses scale into bankruptcy because they make that mistake. They don't collect the money up front. Apologies. So think about that. So I said, you are going to go to DoorDash. How many orders can you fill per day? Oh, I think I can do 30 based on the test. Okay. And then how many people you have to work with you? One other person. How many can they fill? Well, maybe he can do 20. I say, you can't say maybe. You have to know for a fact how much you can do. So if you can do 30 and he can do 20, that's 50. So you can do 50 orders for the day. Does DoorDash allow you to click sold out? Yes, yes. Okay. So you can stop it so you don't get overwhelmed. That's good because it means you'd have to have bought all the ingredients beforehand, the food, and store it. So she can make the stuff. And if she don't get enough orders, food might spoil. Good thing is that she can eat it, so she won't starve. So at least, and freeze it and so. But at least it's not going to say spoil and dash away. Can donate it to a homeless shelter or whatever. But that was also, I was like, okay, what is the menu going to be? Oh, it have everything that a Jamaican restaurant would have. I was like, no. Burger King started with burgers. Then you add fries. So you need to simplify your menu. We need to think like Steve Jobs. And so I brought up, there's actually a great image when Steve Jobs returned to Apple. There's a video you can find on Google. Talks about what he's going to do for the business. And he says, first thing we need to do is identify who our customers are that we want to sell to. Not everybody that's buying from us. Who we want to sell to. You get to choose your customers. So it says we want consumers and prosumers, right? The professionals. So that's two distinct target markets. Okay. We now want to offer something that is a desktop for them and something that is a portable for them. That means they have a quadrant on the consumer side, build a desktop and build a laptop. On the prosumer side, you're going to do the same thing, build a desktop and build a laptop. And that is how he right-sized Apple and got rid of a whole bunch of things. It also reduces decision fatigue for the customer. When you have too many choices, right? I go into the ice cream store and I have 20 different flavors to choose from. I take so long to pick. And I'm tasting and tasting and tasting. Just give me 5 to choose from. Just make it simple. Decision fatigue is actually a problem. Reduce your decision fatigue. So I said, okay, what are you most known for with your Jamaican restaurant? X. I was like, great. That's number 1. What's the second best-selling thing? This is this. What's the third best-selling thing? This. Okay. And then what do they buy to drink with it? Oh, man, they love Ting. That's my number 1 seller. They love ginger beer. That's like, okay. Well, I want to get into natural juices too. I was like, what do you mean? Like pineapple juice. I was like, why? Because people keep asking for it. I said, okay, and what would it take for you to now sell natural juices? Oh, I'd have to buy the fruit. I'd have to be able to freeze them, store them. I need to be able to, obviously, juice them. I'm like, okay, why you want to do that? There's a whole natural juice bar somebody else can do. Send them there. But they want it. Does not matter. You do not need to be a jack of all trades, master of none. Sell them the thing that's in a bottle that you can just buy and put in a refrigerator. Sell them the ginger beer. And in fact, you should introduce them to something else that they don't see in America. Cream soda. Now you have 3 things. That's it. They don't need to buy nothing else to drink from you. They can buy that something else to drink somewhere else. If they want a Coca-Cola or a Sprite or a natural juice, you can go over there. You're in a food court. You don't need all of their wallet. You need them to think of you top of mind for something. Whether it's oxtail, jerk chicken, beef patty, pick the things that they're going to know to come to your store for and what they're going to order on DoorDash from you for. And now you can control exactly what your orders are going to look like going forward on something like DoorDash that can scale quickly. Oh my goodness. It's like, wow, David, you just made my life so much easier and this and that. And I love it. And then she says, oh, and I really want to invest this $500 minimum. I have $500, David. I can invest in Blue Moho. I really want to support. I said, honestly, I really appreciate that. The $500 is not going to change my life. I am sure there's somewhere you can put that $500 into your business right now. And say, wow, it's funny that they said that. We have to replace the pump. That's why my restaurant is closed this week, because the pump is not working there, my water pump. And even though they install it, I have to pay to replace it. And they just told me it's going to cost me $550 to replace it. If she does not replace that, the food people will shut her down. I was like, that is where your $500 need to go. Not to me. Don't worry about that. You can invest later. Just get it done. So again, you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to go and identify the role model, get the recipe, don't change the recipe. That recipe becomes a framework. The framework controls your emotions, and you need access to capital, access to knowledge, access to good people. You need access. You have those things in place. But those only make sense if you had found your why. Why are you doing this? Oh, because I'm really good at cooking. Okay, then who's your business partner that's really good at business? Or are you going to become good at business? Why are you doing what you're doing? Because if you're only doing it for money and you don't have a bigger purpose for that money, right? If you do have a bigger purpose for the money, like donating, then you're going to be driven. But if you have nothing bigger than that, just material stuff, you're not going to be as driven. You're not going to wake up when the bank account is negative. You're not going to get up and be passionate when you're struggling, when a deal falls through, when an investor says, I'm going to deposit today, and then they don't deposit. When you make a commitment to somebody else that's dependent on that investor coming through and the investor falls through, and now you look bad, you will not want to continue if you don't have a bigger why. So have that why. Then you do the role model recipe. Then you have the framework in control emotions, access. Then you go for knowledge. Then you build the team. And then you scale. Do not try to drive a Toyota Corolla startup as if you are a race car already, including if you have not been a race car driver. I will drive a Toyota Corolla different than the average person. I had a racing license and I raced for a year and a half. I will drive it differently, but even I understand the limits of the car, right? So focus on what are the limits of what you're building and then increase those limits and in fact change the vehicle later on. Nothing against Toyota Corollas. They're in fact, they look really, really good right now. I'm shocked at how good they look. So nothing against the Toyota Corolla. Great car. Just understand that it is not a race car, so don't drive it like a race car. Again, just keep reminding people you are building a business or building a life. What is it capable of? And then focus on that. So, any other questions before I literally heard Liam coughing around? So I need to go and check on him. And then I need to get to my day because we are in the middle of filling out a data room. We have a very large US company that has agreed to be our anchor investor. I need to upload some things to their data room. So a lot of people don't understand how that works. I'll quickly run over that before we leave. But typically, when you approach investors or they approach you, you do a cursory, you don't even sign an NDA. Like, here's what the business is about. Here's our rough numbers. Here's our rough team. Here's the long-term vision. Here's the medium-term vision. Here's what I need in the next 90 days and why. Here's a use of funds breakdown that covers 18 months of cost. And here's the result of that money deployed over the 18 months. Right. So you do that. Then they say, hey, man, I'm interested. Here's what the terms would look like. I would put in X dollars for this valuation or for this percentage of your company, which gives you a valuation. So they tell you the dollar amount out of what you want. So you say you want 5 million in my case. And I say, oh, I will do 1 million. And it needs to be for X percent of the company. So you have a rough term sheet. If you don't agree with the percentage, you don't even proceed. You don't need to give them access to all the data. Once you agree to the term sheet, then you can sign the NDA and then give them access to your data room. A data room typically follows a due diligence checklist. That's called your DD checklist. We have a DD checklist that has 66 items. I have to call this person back. So 66 things. So it's going through, for example, your legal documents that proving the company is actually incorporated, that it is actually in good standing. How many shares were actually issued? How many shares are actually authorized, right? Management and personnel, advisors, people that work in a company, people that consult. Contracts that you sign with those people, if any exist, templates of the contracts you want to sign with those people. And those are the kinds of things that go into due diligence. So it's not, here's the money, go on. I'll give you this money. Now let me do a deep dive on your business. Any actual numbers? Show me. Projections? Show me. Those are the important things that you're going to have. So we are going through that process right now with a very large anchor that would then announce it. And then I would go on Bloomberg and be able to talk about them doing that, plus what Bloomaho is doing, and $10 a share, $5 minimum. And I can say that. So we're pretty excited. And then we have an audit that we're going through. I'm the CEO of the company. I'm the only person that can sign a bunch of the stuff that I need. We're a little behind because I've been traveling like a crazy person and I haven't been able to just sit down at my laptop and just get work done. We have team members doing other things, right? But some things really do stop with me, especially as the founder of a tiny startup. So today is my day to catch up on all of that work and then go from there. So I appreciate you guys being here with me this morning. Thank you to the Instagram people. Thank you to Facebook. Thank you to YouTube. It will be saved on YouTube. It should be saved on Facebook. I'm not sure if it's going to save on Instagram. I tried that last time and it didn't work. So if you're on Instagram, just go to youtube.com. I think it's David Mullins, where you can find me on there and it will be saved there. And you can just watch it again anytime you want. I'm definitely going to use this to grab some nuggets and then share as micro content across social media, because it's about Wednesday Wisdom and me sharing with people in a transparent way. Hopefully next time we can get more interaction, more questions, but let's try and do this regularly on a Wednesday. I'm going to try for the morning. Iceberg, respect, thank you, man. Yeah, he says thanks for the gems over on Instagram. I get a lot of support from Instagram, so thank you for supporting. But thank you for the codes, Kian. Thank you for putting out a book, 40 Chances. Please go and check out that book, even if it's just a summary you go read. 40 Chances, Howard Buffett. Thank you, guys. I am signing off. I need to go and check on this sick 10-year-old who I hear coughing. He stopped coughing. But I need to be a good daddy before I dive back into this computer. Later.